All right, so I'm out here today, and I just wanted to go over something really fast that might help somebody. Um, I've got this Generac generator. It's a friend of mine's, and he called me up all frustrated, saying, "Oh man, I don't know what to do with this thing. I've been working on it for 2.5 hours. I can't get it to run. It's a piece of crap. You want to throw it away?" He said he just wanted to go buy a new one. I was like, "Man, don't do that." I said, "Come on, just bring it to me. We'll look at it and we'll see what's going on with it." He said it's probably going to need a carburetor, but we'll check it out. So this is a Generac. It's a 3000 psi, 2.8 gallon per minute. This is more of the industrial version of this power washer. This is like a $700 power washer. It's a lot different than the ones you buy, for $300, $350 at Lowe's and Home Depot and all that. The inner workings of these things are made a whole lot better, and they're made to last a whole lot longer. This is a great power washer right here. So this is definitely not something we want to throw away. So he brought it to me, and like I said, I told him it's probably going to need a carburetor most likely. He said it had been sitting about a year. So, and when he put it away, it ran fine. Everything was great, no problems. So I proceeded to take apart the carburetor. I took off the carburetor. Now, the carburetor is on this model. It's right back here. It's right back here. It's under a bunch of covers and everything. I don't have the, step-by-step instructions on how I did that. It's pretty easy. Just take the cover off. It's 2 bolts. Pops right off. But so I popped that off, and I got to looking at it, and so here's the one I took off. I've got it kind of back together. When I took it apart, I noticed all the seals in here, all the seals in the bowl, the gaskets, everything was just all swollen up and definitely no good. So I told him we're going to go ahead and buy him a new carburetor. I'll get him a new carburetor for him. Now, the reason why I didn't rebuild this carburetor is because back in the late 80s, early 90s, when people looked for carburetors, they used to be super expensive. You couldn't find them anywhere, and they were like $100, $120. They were just ridiculous. So back in that day, we used to rebuild them all, gaskets, everything. But nowadays, these things are so common, you get them for like nothing. This one here, this is a factory Generac, produced by them. It's not an aftermarket brand or anything like that. Got this for $39, almost $40 with shipping. 40 bucks, brand new carburetor from the factory carburetor. You cannot beat that. By the time you buy gaskets, O-rings, everything else, it's just not even worth it. I put a carburetor on a weed whacker for a guy not that long ago. I got it for $18. Just go out and buy a brand new carburetor. Just do some shopping around, search around, you can find them. It's not like it was back in the day, 25 years ago, where you had to pay over $100 for them. It's not like that anymore. But anyways, so I got it on there. I put the carburetor on, and I knew there wasn't anything wrong with the gas because it was only a year old. But I decided to go ahead and empty it all out. I cleaned the screen in the gas tank and made sure it had some fresh gas in there. So I went to pull it, started up. It started at second pull, started right up, started purring like a kitten. So I let it idle out in the driveway, and about a minute and a half or so, 2 minutes, it started hunting. The idle started going up and down, up and down, up and down. And then it was losing power and it wanted to shut off. So I was like, yeah, what's going on with that? So I thought maybe new carburetor was kind of acting up. And I said, probably not, but take a look at it. So I took a look at it. Everything looked good with it. I didn't take it apart or anything because I knew it's a brand new factory carburetor. There can't be anything wrong with it. So I went ahead and so it was sitting for a few minutes. So I had it all back together, and then I pulled it again, started it up. It ran great. It was running. I put the wand on it, started pressure washing. All of a sudden, pressure went down, you know, it started dying again. The idle's hunting. So it's like, oh, what the hell? So I knew it only had to be pretty much one thing. I checked the spark plug, I checked everything. Like I said, it would run for a minute and a half just fine, without a problem. So I knew it could only be one thing, and there's only one thing left on it, and that was, and I don't know if you can see it, but the hose, this is the filter for the gas tank. So I knew the filter was good because I cleaned it and the gas was fresh. So I pulled this hose off the carburetor, and lo and behold, just a little tiny drip was coming out. Little tiny drip. So what was happening was when it sat, that little tiny drip was enough to fill up the bowl down here in the carburetor. And after it ran for a minute and a half, it ran that fuel out, and then it was gone. So, like I say, let it sit, drip, drip, drip. So this hose, the inside of this hose was all deteriorated, and I will tell you why. Because the biggest reason for that is the gas he uses in this thing. Now, gas today is made with ethanol. Ethanol is bad for hoses, gaskets, all that stuff. You want to try to use a fuel that does not have ethanol in it. There are some gas stations out there that don't put ethanol in their gas. We have one down the road from me. It carries all different types of gas, from racing gas to regular gas, diesel, and it has fuel without ethanol. Now, the reason why it destroys the rubber and everything, is because the ethanol, basically, ethanol is just alcohol, and that's why it deteriorates the gaskets. So ethanol is used in cars nowadays to basically it reduces emissions. Now, ethanol is just basically alcohol. It's basically in the everyday alcohol that you drink. That is ethanol. So now I will point out, don't ever drink straight ethanol. It will kill you. Straight ethanol will kill you. Do not drink straight ethanol. That's why people that drink a lot, they get alcohol poisoning. Their liver goes bad. That's from the ethanol in the alcohol. So like vodka is almost straight ethanol. It's just cut with water. They usually cut it to around 80 proof, something like that, I believe. And I think like Everclear, have you ever heard of Everclear? I think it's pretty popular. That's the closest thing you're going to get to pure ethanol. They have a 190 proof version of Everclear, and it's like 94% ethanol in it. So, I mean, I could tell you all about alcohol. I grew up in the mountains, so actually out in the backwoods, we call it grain alcohol, because it's basically produced by grain fermentation. So, I mean, anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. But so I'm going to just tell you that try to use a fuel that is free from ethanol. That would be my first tip. I have a buddy that's got a four-wheeler, and he had it in his, and I mean, it was disastrous. It caused all kinds of problems. Carburetor, it ate up his fuel pump, it ate all kinds of stuff. I know it's in there, you can use it, but just try not to use it. That'd be my first tip for that. On all of these small engines, it's a good idea to try to do the ethanol free fuel. So, and my second tip would be that if you're going to store this thing for over a year or so, if you don't use these small machines every day, like if this is not your business and you don't power wash every day, what you need to do, if it's going to sit for, who knows, a couple weeks, a month, 3 months, a year, if it's going to sit like that, What you want to do when it's running is you want to take the fuel cutoff and just turn it off. Let it run. Don't shut it off. Just let it run until all the fuel runs out of the carburetor. That's all you want to do. So that carburetor will be free of any fuel and debris or anything in there. So the next time you start it, you don't have any gummed up stuff in there. There won't be nothing, old fuel in there, nothing. So you should be good to go. I don't have a problem with any of my small engines ever starting. All my stuff starts. I mean, I've got weed whackers, I mean, you name it. I've got generators, I've got it all. And I've never had a problem with the carburetor. When you shut the fuel off, let it run out, and then it'll shut off on its own, and then just flip the on and off switch off, and then just put it away. So it'll be good for the next time you go to start it up. So I hope this helps somebody. If they're having a problem with their power washer, like I say, 99% of the time it's usually the carburetor, but make sure you check those hoses and anything that's rubber, you know, it's because it's going to eat stuff up. So all right, so if you got any questions, just put them in the comment section, and if I miss something, I'll try to answer it. All right, later.